First on your notes, please note that our next test is currently scheduled for Tuesday, November 26th. That is the day before Thanksgiving break. So if you know that you are going to be gone the Monday or Tuesday prior to Thanksgiving break, make sure that you're talking with me in the next week or so that we can make a plan for how to get that test done for you. Okay, pause the video for a moment and try A, B, and C on your own. This is multiplying binomials. You might remember the term FOIL or double distribute. See if you remember how to multiply these out. Once you're done, play the video to see how you did. Personally, I do not like the term FOIL because it's a trick that only works when you're multiplying binomials. I prefer double distribute. So using purple, I will distribute my x. That will give us x squared minus 5x. And then using pink, I'm done distributing this x. Now we need to distribute the 3. That gives us 3x minus 15. So FOIL is really just distribute however many times you need to so that everything in the first set of parentheses gets distributed to the second set of parentheses. Then we combine our like terms. We've got x squared minus 2x minus 15. In B, distribute the 2x. That gives you 2x squared minus 8x. Distribute the 3. That gives you 3x minus 12. Combine your like terms. 2x squared, negative 8 and 5, or negative 8 and 3 is negative 5x minus 12. In C, what I would do first is distribute the 2 so that you have 2x minus 8. And then it's just like example B. So distribute the 2x. Distribute the negative 8. And then combine your like terms. 2x squared minus 14x plus 24. Okay, today we are going to basically undo what we just did. We're going to focus on problems like example A today. So I want you to take a moment and look at this number, negative 15. Take a look back at the original problem. Where do you see the source of negative 15? Negative 15 happens when we multiply positive 3 times negative 5. So those two numbers multiplied together gives us this number. Now let's look at the relationship between the 3 and the negative 5 and this number. If you take positive 3 minus 5, that gives you that middle number, negative 2. That is going to be our strategy for how to factor or how to undo the multiplication for this trinomial. So we are going to look at this last number, the 6. We are looking for two numbers that when you multiply them together, they give you 6. Now, those same numbers need to add up to the middle number, 5. So start with, how can we multiply to get 6? We can do 1 times 6 or we can do 2 times 3. Which one would add up to 5? 2 plus 3 is 5. 2 times 3 is 6. So our factored form is x plus 2, x plus 3. You could also write it x plus 3, x plus 2. The order of the parentheses doesn't matter. What does matter is that we have positive 2 and positive 3 in the parentheses. Now if you multiplied this out, you'd get x times x is x squared. When you multiply 2 times x, you'd get 2x. Then you would, hold on, that might be confusing. X times x gives you x squared. X times 3 is 3x. 2x, those add together to give us that 5x. and then 2 times 3 is 6. So we have just undone the multiplication of those two binomials. Okay, let's try this again. Number 2, we are looking for two numbers that multiply to give us this last number, 36. Those same two numbers need to add up to our middle number, negative 12. Now, I'll be completely straight with you. Some people look at these blanks and it just pops into their head. Oh, it's this number and this number. Some people will stare at these blanks and think, where the heck did you get those numbers from? It doesn't matter which of those people you are, you can do this. There's this common misconception in math that in order to be good at math, you have to be fast at it. I am often really not fast at math. You can be good at math and not be fast at it. So let's think about ways to multiply to get 36. And I'm going to be very thorough. 1 times 36, 2 times 18, 3 times 9, 4, wait, that's 4 times 9, 3 times 12, I think, 4 times 9, or 6 times 6. There's a lot of ways that you can multiply to get 36. Now we need to look at those options and see which of those options, if we added them together, would help us to get negative 12. Now here's the clincher thingy. If we're trying to add up to a negative number, there has to be negative numbers involved. But if you're multiplying to get a positive, that means they both need to be negative. If you're multiplying to get a positive, the only way to do that is a positive times a positive or a negative times a negative. But since we have to add up to a negative number, they both have to be negative. So to get negative 12, we would have to do negative 6 times negative 6, negative 6 plus negative 6. Notice you have to use the same pair of numbers both times. You can't use one pair of numbers for the first blank and a different pair. It has to be the same pair. So our factored form is x minus 6 times x minus 6. And this would be further reduced by saying x minus 6 squared. If both parentheses are exactly the same, you can write one set of parentheses squared. Okay, I'm going to start you on number 3 and then ask you to pause and try this yourself. We need two numbers that multiply to give us positive 84. Those same two numbers have to add up to our middle number, 19. If I were you, I would start with 1 times 84, 2 times, see what that number is. Try a bunch of those numbers until you get a good list, and then see which of those could give you 19. Pause the video, try this on your own. Once you have what you think is your answer, then you can play the video to check. Did you pause the video? Are you sure you paused the video? Are you sure you tried this on your own? Okay, I will admit to you, this one is really annoying because there's a ton of ways you can get 84. So I did 84 divided by 2 and got 42. 82 divided by 3 and got 28. 84 divided by 4, 21. 84 divided by 5, I knew wouldn't work because 84 doesn't end in a 5 or a 0. 84 divided by 6 is 14. 84 divided by 7 is 12. 84 divided by 8 gave me a decimal. 84 divided by 9 gave me a decimal. 84 divided by 10 I know isn't going to work. And I'm pretty sure 84 divided by 11 is not going to work. 84 divided by 12, and then we're back to the numbers that we already have. So yeah, I know that's a long process to get all those numbers, but it's worth it. Then look at ways to get 19. Nope, nope, nope. This would have to involve negatives, but that can't, so nope, nope. 7 plus 12 is 19, and 7 times 12 is 84. So our factored form is x plus 7, x plus 12, or x plus 12, x plus 7. Okay, all of these 3 examples were 2 positives or 2 negatives. Now let's look at just kind of throwing it all together. So I'm going to let you do some of these on your own. First, I'm going to give myself some space. All right. We are looking for two numbers that multiply to give us negative 18. Those same numbers need to add up to negative 7. Take a moment, see if you can figure those out. For our options, we've got 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6, 18 divided by 4 is a decimal, 5, 6, we're back. Okay. 18 plus 1, 18 minus 1, that's not going to get us negative 7. 2 and 9. 9 minus 2 is positive 7, so reverse it. 2 minus 9 is negative 7. So check one more time. 2 times negative 9, definitely negative 18. 2 plus negative 9, definitely 7. So our factored form is x plus 2, x minus 9. Okay, try number 5 on your own. The whole thing. Pause the video. Pause the video. Pause the video. Okay, I've got my list of ways to multiply to get 48. I want numbers that are 2 units apart, so I'm going to go with 6 and 8. Now, here's another helpful hint. If you're trying to add up to a positive number, the bigger number needs to be positive. If you're trying to add up to a negative number, look back here, we were trying to add up to a negative number, so the bigger number was negative. So whatever you're trying to get to, the bigger number is going to be that, either positive or negative. So my factored form is x minus 6, x plus 8. Okay, again, pause the video, try number 6 entirely on your own. You're looking for two numbers that multiply to negative 28 and two numbers that add up to negative 12. Here's my options, 4 and 7, don't think so, don't think so. I'm trying to add up to a negative number, so the bigger number is going to be negative. 2 times negative 14 is negative 28. 2 plus negative 14 is negative 12. My factored form is x plus 2, x minus 14. Okay, let's look at 7 and 8 because they're a little bit different. It is a trinomial like you saw in 4, 5, and 6. It's just that this is x squared plus 0x minus 49. So we are looking for two numbers that multiply to give us negative 49 and add up to 0. The only two numbers that are going to add up to 0 would be a number and its perfect opposite. So 7 times negative 7. 7 times negative 7 is negative 49. 7 plus negative 7 is 0. So our factored form would be x plus 7, x minus 7. Now, here's the cool thing about this. This is a special pattern called the difference of two squares. If you're at all familiar with your perfect squares, 2 times 2 is, or 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, etc. 64, that's 8, 81, 100, 121, 144, etc. X squared is a perfect square. It is the perfect square of x. If you take x and multiply it times itself, you have x squared. 49 is also a perfect square. It is the perfect square of 7 because 7 times 7 is 49. The difference of two squares means that you are subtracting two perfect squares. The square root of x squared is x. The square root of 49 is 7. Notice the factored form is x plus 7, x minus 7. Let's use that pattern to help us with number 8. X squared is the perfect square of x. 64, what number times itself is 64? That would be 8. The factored form would be x plus 8, x minus 8. If you were to multiply this out, you would end up with the terms 8x and negative 8x, which would cancel each other out, leaving you with just x squared minus 64.